Yeah, man, bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up to everyone, man. Don't know. This video, going to be about the Jamaican Premier League team of the season so far. I don't know. We reaching midway point of the Ryan Jamaican Premier League, man. Match day 13. And I decide, I'm going to drop my team of the season so far. So many players, have in and out, performance. A lot of players too, have a well long consistent run a farm, for their teams. So I pick my best possible, 11 that I think that make the cut, but bless up to everyone, everyone that keep supporting the academy, that was channel, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah. I don't know, but if this video is going to give, like, I would say probably break up, cause there's such a bad weather outside right now speaking. Yeah, so the internet, keep going in and out, a little earlier. It's kind of stable now, but hopefully it can keep, as I go along with the show, man. Yeah, as I said, Jamaican Premier League team of the season so far. But, a couple, I think it was, a couple days ago, Sunday. Yeah, couple games played. Harbourview played that game at States, beat Treasure Beach 2-0, 2 stoppage time goal, by Shaquille Badford and Joshua Anglin, man. Some people said that, Harbourview team so lucky. Yeah, I think that's their second win of the season so far. Yeah, Harbourview is still stuck down there. I think they are 13. I think it's 12. And I think Harbourview is down there at 12 position. Let's see where Harbourview is at. But I know Harbourview, though, even though they won, they are 12 points same way, but not managed to move any further up. As Umberland, they're in 11 position, as Umberland is on 14. Yeah, so Harbourview won that game, but Arnett Garden, big shocker. Yeah, when I don't know this season, man. When Arnett Garden decide that they're going to lose games, they just losing games. Horrible. Arnett Garden lost 3 games so far after the season. 3-0 at Anthony Spalding Sports Complex against Tivoli. That game we lost at 13th apart, 2-0, and the game that we lost, that rescheduled game, which is supposed to be match day 7 of the Jamaican Premier League. Cavalry was in that CFU tournament and all that, so most of those games didn't play and all that. But I got the last 3-0, man, and I feel this defeat is down to the coach. Yeah, I feel this defeat is down to the coach personally. Because watching the game as a fan and looking at it, I can see, all the mistakes that Arnett Garden is making. Yeah, the players is making a whole lot of mistakes too, but you can't just sit there, you can't just sit or stand there on the touchline watching a team, making the same mistakes over and over and over. I mean, I heard him, were barking at the players and telling them to play a little bit more wide, play the ball a little bit more quicker, but Rudolph Speed came with a plan, and that plan was to defend the Arnett Garden team deep and hit them on the counter in the transition game. And Arnett Garden they didn't recover. They didn't recover, from those 2 early goals that they conceded. And it was like that game was like a game, we played in that quarterfinal last season. I think it was against Mount Pleasant at Sabina Park, yeah. And we control the game, but there's nothing further from there. Arnett Garden didn't do anything, direct towards the goal. But as I said, the coach, the team playing a high line, the midfielder keep losing the ball in dangerous position. Fabian Reed didn't manage to get in the game. Warner Brown is drifting inside too much, as he's a striker. But as a striker playing on the wing, you tend to come in more, and the coach was asking for a lot from him, stay wide and all that, but he wasn't disciplined enough to keep the win. Rasheed Kelson, came in for Shea Smith in the game, and nothing. Jamon Shepherd, I think he played, his worst game of the campaign so far. Rashaan Amos got a stupid red card. I think, the I think the referee, the woman referee, I think her name is Odette. Yeah, I think she made a mistakes also, during that call. But big up to Anik, the goalkeeper. Yeah, Asha Osin, so he made some fabulous save. He made some fabulous save for the Junglist team. Anik could have easily, lost that game around, I would say probably, 4-5. Yeah, but we're going to go on, and jump into the video, man. Um, yeah, but the Jamaican Premier League team of the season, man, I don't know if you guys have any disagreement, just drop your comment down there in the box, yeah? Just comment and tell me what you guys think whenever you see the team popped up on the screen, but I'm going to start things off, with with goalkeepers. Yeah, going to pick the goalkeepers. I have a selection of goalkeepers. Roger Williams from Veer. Yeah, the man that I think his first two games of the campaign, he got man of the match. Yeah, one against Tivoli, and I think one was against Moulins, and he got 3 clean sheets. Of the campaign so far. He played in all games for Veer United. He's one of the best players in the squad. Yeah, he's a very good shot stopper. And I have him down on the list, Kemar Foster, the national goalkeeper. Yeah, for Waterhouse, I think he played around 10 or 11 games. He was missing, a couple games during that time. I think when the Reggae Boys, when they were playing that game, the unofficial game in New York against Guatemala. Yeah, and another goalkeeper, very impressive this season. Yeah, Shaquan Davis, the big man from Mount Pleasant. The man that played all games so far for Mount Pleasant. Played in all 13 games. He have more than 5 clean sheets. Remember when Mount Pleasant had that run? That 6-game winning and beating running, trying to go and beat him throughout the season, but it didn't manage to pull through. I had another goalkeeper, but Eric Edwards and Damon Ayat, Eric been in and out of the squad, in and out of the squad because of injured and all of that. Damon Ayat is the next one that consistent enough, but my goalkeeper for this squad, is going to be Shaquan Davis, the man from Mount Pleasant. He put in a lot of work between that stick, for Mount Pleasant and to keep so many clean sheets, even during that run of game they had, they haven't lose again just before, Cavalier beat them. But, we're going to go on and the defenders. Yeah, the defenders, Joel, Sule, McCullough, Stefan Young from Portmore, Shavai Watkin from Dumble Holding, Barrington Price, big man, big center from Tivoli Garden. Yeah, and the man himself, Kyle Ming from Cavalier. Yeah, Ricardo Thomas from Dumble Holding, the left wing back, Emilio Rousseau, the left wing back for Portmore United. But it's this, one thing I have to say about the defenders. Yeah, it's been a while, I haven't seen quality wingbacks in the league. I don't see much quality wingbacks in the Jamaican Premier League this season. Usually the league have a lot of quality players, players that can deliver a very good cross into the box. Yeah, and players that, go up and down, can defend in that defensive third, and can attack in that opposition final third. But as I said, I'm not going to go with any wing backs. It's going to be 3 across the back, and my 3 defenders. It will be Barrington Price, the man from Tivoli Garden that played all 13 games so far, 14 clean sheet. Tivoli, goal conceded, 13 goals they have conceded. That's one of the best start in a JPL season for more than a decade. Yeah, Tivoli been known for shipping goals out, but they manage keeping it tight at the back. They're trying their best, but I think they could have done a little bit more better, to be honest. But nevertheless, they are still, the highest scoring team in the league. So Barrington Price, the man at the back, and man to go be a captain, Sule Makala. Yeah, Sule, remember Sule got that brace in the final against Cavalier, to win the first ever championship for Mount Pleasant. People, if you're hearing that noise in the back, man, there is a little freak storm outside, yeah? The rain is tearing outside. The wind is so strong. Other defender, Emilio Russell, the man from Portmore, he's one of those consistent, he's a left wing back, and he's one of them that playing really, really well, this season, in his position. And I chosen Emilio Russell because he's more consistent more than anyone. And I could have easily, Joel Cunningham, the man from Arnett Garden, the skipper, he's solid, but tend to make silly mistakes. And I think, that's one of the reasons why he is not rewarded a spot, in this back three. Another player that easily could have in it, Steve Young, the man from Portmore, defending excellent this season. He played 12 of Portmore 13 games, haven't scored a goal, but he's solid at the back even when he comes up, with the veteran, Rudolph Astin, but Barrington Price, Sule Makala, and Emilio Russell, that's the back three right there. You're gonna go ahead and go to the midfield. Yeah, the midfield, Marlon Martin from Arnett Garden, Jeremy Nelson, a man that been playing. Jeremy Nelson been playing. It's strange, it's very strange because the start of the season, I think the first couple months, 3 months after the season, Jeremy been playing that box to back midfielder, deep line, creative player, and just a couple of games before Alex Thomas got the sack at Mullines, he pulled him back in that back line. As you know, Jeremy is a very versatile player. He can play anywhere, on the pitch. He could play a striker anywhere you put him. You put him in a goal, he can play there. And he played, I think, the last 4 to 5 games now for Mullines, Evo, under the new coach. He's playing there, and I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't really grant him a spot in that midfield, because he's playing consistently well for Mullines United in the midfield, and then he kind of slipped up when he went into that center half position. But saw that silly red card that he got, hands the ball, he kind of have a little temper problem. A player that sometimes can lose him so fast in a game, yeah. And when he's a skipper of a team, especially like Mullines, you're fighting for survival, and you need your best player on the pitch at all time. And Jeremy Nelson, he's not going to reward a spot in that midfield. Marlon Martin, he's one of that solid rock in the back in that CDM position, for Arnett Garden. And also there's another player, who's been playing really good. The Brazilian from Montego Bay, yeah. Lucas, he's been playing really excellent. But I feel like, some of the games that, Lucas played in the JPL, he's a little bit too slow to cover grounds, yeah. So big up to his captain, his fellow teammate, Turner. He's another player that, played really excellent this season. And, whenever they play together, it's like one of them is more quicker than one, and they complement each other, they cover the space. But Turner is much a versatile player in that midfield, but Luca is the one that more technical ability, someone that can keep the ball in a tight spot, someone that can, beat the press whenever Montego Bay is coming out, that short pass from the back line. But as I said, so many players that can be in that midfield. And I have another one, Jaheim National Thomas, the man from Arnett Garden, yeah? The man that scored 3 goals after season so far, played, I think he only missed 1 game for the Jungle this campaign, and he's playing out of his socks, yeah? This player reminds me of a former player that, from Arnett Garden, Jonathan Williams, the little wizard, yeah? Jaheim Thomas is an excellent player. He's very technical. He's very precise. Even when he's picking up the ball with his back to goal, he knows exactly when to turn. When to make a wall pass. When to take 2 touch, and he is that player for Arnett Garden in the midfield where they look up to come deep for the ball. Push the team up forward and create. He's that sparks. Yeah, he's the sparks in the midfield. And another player, kind of surprised me, yeah. A overseas player, Jean, Claudio, he's playing some beautiful football, yeah. I only see, I think out of those 13 games, Montego Bay probably get, around seven featured game, but I managed to see most of those games because, they stream their games online and on Instagram Live and all of that, so I get to see much of Montego Bay more than anything else outside of Arnett Garden, yeah. But as an overseas player, Jean surprised me a lot. His technical ability. What caught me eye, with this player, his fitness. His fitness level. Watching that game live at Anthony Sparling Sports Complex. When Arnett Garden beat them, I was looking at him and I was like, this player is so fit. Yeah, he's so fit. He never stopped running. I was like, whoa, he's putting in a lot of work because, he's that one in that midfield. His technical ability is way above his peers, even in the team, even in the league, his position awareness and how to pick up, the little acute passes he can drop in those little pocket and his set piece. He's a set piece king. He loved to kick his set piece, but I only seen him play 1 bad game, and that was the Harborview game. His set piece was horrible. Even though, that game drew 2-2 at Westport Park, but I think he scored a penalty, that day. I think that day he scored a penalty, his second goal of the season. I think he grabbed 6, assists so far of the season, but I only seen him have 1 bad game, and I have to go ahead and put Jean in that midfield 3, and Jaheim National, he is going to be in that 3, and there's another player, I'm going to select, but I want to talk about this player, for Veer, Captain Xavier Brown. He's a player that not used to playing in that midfield in that Central Park era, but he's adapting well, and he whenever I see Veer play on the TV, he's the one that drive the team forward. Him and another player named Lamar Neal, another excellent player in the midfield. Both of them drive Veer from deep into the attacking third, and then right after Veer United got Kemar Bushy Beckford, everything seems to get a little bit more smoother for the team. Those players are the players that used to score the goals, as Brown scored, I think, 2 of his goals out of the 3 are PK, and the other one was like a 25-30 yards out shot, but they Brown and Lamani was that player before Bushy came in, pushed that Veer team up, and since he came in, everything just started to be smooth sailing for Veer, but not very consistently, playing and getting that positive results. But I have to say, this player, Nikai Christian, yeah, he is one of the best, or he is probably the best player that, created chances per game. This player, he created chances after chances after chances. But my downfall, with Nikai Christian, yeah, sometimes he's a little bit lackluster, he's a little bit lazy. Yeah, he tend to run whenever you feel like. As you know, luxury player, You're not going to get, luxury players, running all over the pitch. Not everyone going to be a KDB, someone that worked their socks off, yeah. But he is the creative sparks, for Waterhouse. If he don't have a good game, if he's not picking up the ball deep, there's no one else in that midfield for Waterhouse to pick up the ball and create. As this Waterhouse is one of the, I'd say, probably the poorest Waterhouse team I've seen technical wise. Yeah, outside of Nikai, Andre Fletcher, Denard Thomas, they have another player. I think he's a wing back. I don't remember his name, but I think he wear number 62, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Those players are the one that really technical. I think his name is Dallas. Yeah, Dallas for Waterhouse. Yeah, technical ability on the ball is really good. But this Waterhouse team, I need to see a bit more, character with this Waterhouse team. But Nikai is doing really good. And next thing I would say, I would love him to do more. Nikai need to shoot more. He tend to try to create, for his teammates, just to put them on, on the end to just try to get a goal. And he gave Javier Bryan loads of goals to score, but he's another player that I'm going to get to. But yeah, my midfield three is Jaim National Thomas, Jean Claudio, and Nikai Christian. Yeah, and that's it. For the goalkeeper, the back line and the midfield, as I'm going to put up, going to put up the squad so you guys can have a quick peek on it. Yeah, so guys, yeah, this is the squad that I came up with. Best team of the season so far. So many players probably see this and probably got disappointed of they didn't in it, but such is life, man. Everyone can't be in it, yeah. But some quality players in that midfield that really stand out, consistently playing really good, for their club. And most of these players are the driving force, for their team, yeah. And I have to applaud these players. But we're going to move on, from that midfield tree where Jean, Christian, and Thomas is at. So the left wing, Fletcher, Waterhouse, man, yeah. This player, is one of the most gifted player, in this 11, yeah. To be honest, this is one of the most gifted player. Like, I don't know what's wrong with JPL player, but some players just tend not to work hard enough for their team. I can imagine if Andre Fletcher put in enough work, like different from training, putting in that half work, get extra fitness, work on your skills, work on your craft more. He could become a better player. And I'm telling you, Fletcher is a really, really good player, for Waterhouse. I have to applaud him a lot. A few players, that got missed out of this team of the season, so far. Midfielders like Juma Johnson, last year played for Arnett Garden, scored 7 goals, 5 assists. Wonderful talent, but I don't know what's going on with Ajuma Johnson, at Arnett Garden, at Arborview. As the team is struggling. Demario Phillips is the next player, probably, Demario Phillips is probably that player, probably made the team of the season, last season. So, he didn't start the season, as he was away doing international duties, but quality player. I'm expecting to see a better second half of the season for Demario Phillips. He went in that accident. He was in that accident with the team bus and all of that. So yeah, I could understand a lot of ups and downs, but Kimani Arbon, yeah, the man who is not at Arnett Garden at the moment, as you know, he's in Africa, trying to get things out for himself. But Kimani Arbone is a player, Arnett Garden going to miss him a lot. Yeah, Arnett Garden going to miss this player a lot. I remember, when Ronaldo Cephas, was leaving Arnett Garden a couple seasons ago, I think just a couple weeks before, that playoff set of games comes. And I didn't know where, Arnett Garden was going to go from there. Yeah, I didn't know where Arnett Garden was going to go from there. As Cephas was the best player, in the squad. And it just left Arnett Garden short that season. Yeah, and we didn't pull through. We lost that. I think Arborview beat us, with 10 men. Arborview beat us with 10 men that season. But Kimani Arbone been at the club for some while now. Really good player. He's a true and true junglist. Yeah. But whenever he put on the red and black shirt, consistently his name. He's one of that. He's that player. In Arnett Garden squad. When he was there, he got the most criticism from the supporters. Yeah, he got the most criticism from the supporters, and I said, yo, how you did it? How you do it, man? Like you been called so many names, from the supporters, from in the stands, but you come up every match there and deliver, and you produce the goods, for Arnett Garden, and you scored, 6 goals. No, 5 goals, of the campaign before he left. He played in nine games. Another player that could easily make the squad, John Mara Calvin, the Antiguan, for Cavaliers, another really good player. But, these players, for Cavalier, like Ming, Leng, Ian's, these players, remember, they Cavalier was playing at CFU, so they were in and out of the JPL, but I feel like that was one of the reasons why, they didn't consistent enough. But I knew for a fact this Cavalier team have loads of potential, players that are really good in the JPL, and you saw they got back, one of their farmer. I wouldn't say a farmer, he's on loan, he was in Finland, forgot his name. He scored, I think he scored yesterday. Yeah. Oh my, I forgot this player name. I think his nickname is Beezy though, but I remember his name shortly. Yeah, but the striker, Don, and Brian, I think those 2 players are best players in the striking position that I can choose from. Scoring, especially Brian, this is his first season, and for a player, coming to the JPL for his first season, scoring 9 goals, some of his goals came in patches. Yeah, some of his goals came in patches, but needs to be a little bit more consistent. Don is an ex-player, probably I think he haven't scored in around 4 games now on the bounce, but he missed the last couple of games, been struggling with a muscle injury, so trying to play through it, but the baller is trying to get his best shape, but he's a very good player. He's a Porsche. He's one of the Porsche, in the JPL. I see no one done it like him. Yeah, he can run off the shoulder. He can drop deep. He's a really good finisher. He doesn't scare to take shots from outside of 18. Yeah, and I have to applaud him for that. But yeah, not a player, easily could have played, on any one of those wings. Devante Campbell, yeah, the young Mount Pleasant prodigy. But the season with Devante are probably, since he started, a couple seasons back, his end product. He remind me a lot, Devante Campbell remind me a lot of Garnacho. Yeah, pace, directness, skills, but he can beat his opposition, 1v1. But when it comes down to finishing or to deliver a cross, for his teammate to run on the NI, he's not consistently enough in that. And I feel like he just need to work on his finishing, and his fitness also. He put in so much miles in his games. And whenever it reaches the 70 mark, you can easily look at him and know that this player is going out of breath. He's just not fit enough, and I think he needs to work on that a little bit more. Another player, could have probably go in, that top two, between Don and Brian is Nicholas Nelson, yeah, the former Mullines player. This player scored 8 goals last season, for Mullines, and he was one of the reasons, for keeping Mullines in the Premier League, yeah. He scored so many goals to help his team. He's at double only now. He's on 6 goals. He scored, those goals right after goals after goals, but he scored a brace, on his former team. I think he scored 2 or 3 brace on the bounce, and that's always on 6 goals, but need to be a little bit more consistently, scoring goals after goals. If you want to be that number 9, that standout number 9. This is why, a player like Devon Adjis, former player, used to play in the JPL. This is why, those type of players, is the best ever played in the Jamaican Premier League, because they consistently scoring goals after goals. Yeah. Fabian Reid is the next player. He's really consistent in scoring goals after goals after goals, performance after performance. You very rarely see Fabian Reid, a player like him, a caliber player like him, not playing up to par. That game he played against Cavalier, that's a very well tactical game, by a Cavalier coach. But those are the little things, you have to play with Fabian Reid. But I think I have another player, DeAndre Thomas, another Waterhouse player, very gifted player, but end product, so many wingers, in the Jamaican Premier League, like wingers slash, forwards, players that can play as a number 9 or a winger. They just, is either they're not, the end product is not good, or their fitness level is not good, but whenever they get the ball, you can see that, wow, these players, these players wow you a lot when you see them on the ball, and just work on them end product. Yeah, scoring more goals. I feel like when JPL's players see that, they're scoring a couple goals, they feel like, yeah, that is it. But the player, that I was trying to remember, the player that I said busy, yeah, for Cavalier is Christopher Ainsworth. Christopher Ainsworth, is a player, I seen him. I remember I watched that one game, with Christopher Ainsworth. I think it was, pretty sure it was Lima versus Cavalier. It was a 1 o'clock game. I was in Jamaica at the time. I was watching it on TV, and I was like, this player have a lot of potential. Yeah, this player have a lot of potential, and Cavaliers have some young players. I think they have another player name. I think his name is Omar Reed or Adrian Reed. Very young player. And I think he is a U20 Jamaican player, and I love the work, Rhoda Speed is doing with this Cavalier team. Yeah, so many young players that have loads of potential, big future ahead of them. It's up to him and the players, try to move on forward and try to lift their game a little bit higher. So we're going to talk about, the coach of the season so far. Tivoli finished in 11th position and 22 points last season. Conceded 42 goals. Tivoli scored 29 goals. Yeah. This season, Jeremy took over, the Tivoli team. I think the coach, it was Admiral Bailey, and Jeremy Intelligence was the coach and the assistant coach for Tivoli last campaign. Tivoli team is so poor, I think if there was like, if there were some stats that put out, for Tivoli run less kilometers, in the league. They probably created less chances. I don't know what was Tivoli identity last campaign, but Jerome Wade have turned this team around. Yeah, and this is why this man is the best coach on the island, because it doesn't matter what team Jerome Wade coach, you're going to see his philosophy, and it's not going to take too long for him to show his standard, put his fingerprint on this team. And this is why, Tivoli Garden is the highest scoring team, in the league with 25 goals. Just before Montego Bay beat Tivoli 2-1, Tivoli was on a 7-game, unbeaten run. Tivoli was right there, and Tivoli is the only team, in the league have scored 3 or more goals 6 times. And it all started from, that game that they played, at the national stadium, the first game of the Jamaican Premier League, when they beat, Waterhouse 3-0. And that's when, their season started. They just started to score loads of goals. So you have to give Jerome Wade a lot of credit, for what he's doing, with this Tivoli Garden team. And this is a team, is going to be a really threat to the Premier League title, yeah. And Mount Pleasant going to have problems because, Arnett Garden is on a down patch right now. But when you have a team like Portmore United, team that's very experienced, especially in the final stretch of a campaign in the JPL. Jerome Wade, a very experienced coach, going into that back stretch, finishing the top in that top 6. Tivoli didn't make the playoff for the last couple of seasons, and they managed to be right up there right now, trying to finish in that first position. So you can imagine, look at the transition where Tivoli, is coming from 11th last season up to 3rd right now, playing consistently well, scoring goals. Tivoli scored, I think, 4 shy away from, the goal, all the goals that they scored last campaign, and we just reached Midway. So, this team is on the verge of scoring probably 45 goals, 50 goals for the whole season. So you have to give Tivoli credit. You have to look out for them. They are coming for that league. And one of my biggest shock of the Premier League so far, yeah, it's Veer. I had Veer to probably been around in that red zone, trying to finish above the drop. Yeah. And one of my biggest disappointment, of the league so far is Harborview. Harborview is down there 11th position. It's like Harborview and Tivoli swap position this season, because that's where Harborview, was last season, right up in that top 4, top 3. And Tivoli was all the way down on the bottom side, of the table. But Harborview is the biggest disappointment for me, with a very experienced coach, Ludlow Bernard, and a very experienced player that used to play in the JPL, the assistant coach, Sean Fraser, yeah? So I've played, like Fagan, a player that the Premier League is his bread and butter. He just came back for like what he was playing away, in Southeast Asia for probably the last decade or so. Yeah, and he came back, Juma Johnson, Harding. Them have Breaking Bridge, them have Joshua Anglin, player that, have some experience playing in the USL. Kaim Priestley, yeah, a very good midfielder from his days coming from KC. So yeah, them have players, Shaquille Bradford, the man that scored 9 goals last campaign for Waterhouse. No, I think he scored 7 goals right now, for Harborview. He's the leading goal scorer for them. So they have probably around 9 good players that, are really good player at the JPL level. So I don't know what's the issue, with Harborview of playing so poorly, and they're making a lot of mistakes. They're making a lot of defensive errors. So probably they need to go in and dip in the market. The owner, Calvin Stewart, is he going to pull the trigger if Ludlow Bernard continue to have this poor run of farm? But knowing Harborview like that family club, Ludlow is a part of that family. It's going to take a hell of a job, to get him out, as they're going to give him all the time. You see what they did to Ricardo Gardner? They're going to give him all the time, But if it get to the end where they just seems like they're going to get relegated, I guess, Calvin Stewart going to have to just pull the trigger and just, release, Ludlow Bernard. But Thunder Holding is a team, that was really on farm, yeah. they lost only one game in their last 6. And see Dumble Olin is at 6th position right now, the spot where they finished 1 point above Portmore last season. They are a team that I was expecting, Dumble Olin to drop off a little bit, especially losing your most creative player, which is Nikai, last season. So Dumble Olin is right there. Arnett God having their issues. Arnett God having their issues, I think, the coach going to have to find that balance in that front three, because losing Kim and Arbonne, I said it already, losing Kim and Arbonne, and Fabian Reed is coming back. So Kimani is a winger, a hard-working winger. Fabian Reed is a striker, number 9, yeah? And Arnett Gardner have one of the best number 9 in the league, a young number 9, Warner Brown, very technical. Having both players, they have to start in this team. So the front three is kind of, it's unbalanced. The coach need to find that balance. Is he going to play that 4-2-3-1? Is he going to play that 4-3-3? But I feel like in certain games, just like a team like Treasure Beach that they played a couple of days ago, a week ago, yeah, a team that's going to sit deep, a 4-2-3-1 will be the best possible option for Xavier Gilbert. Play Warner Brown through the middle and play Fabian Reed right behind him in that number 10, and you can easily use Marlon Martin and Jaheim Thomas playing that double pivot. Jaheim playing more box to box and Marlon sit deep. Yeah, think you can find a much more balanced team playing against a lesser a team that's a weaker opponent, but coming up against a team like Cavalier that's always going to catch us on the counter. You have to play with 2 wingers that going to give you the width, and that's where he made that a couple of mistakes in that Cavalier game. So probably want to bench Warner Brown in certain games and play Fabian. That's Fabian, he has to play. He's the El Capitano for the team. He's a man. He's a leader. They look up to him, so him have to play. A man that scored over 70 Premier League goals in his career. You have to play him. 15 goals last season. You have to play him. So let's see where Xavier Gilbert go from here. See if I want to touch. Oh, so Montego Bay, yeah, Montego Bay is right there. Montego Bay is 6 points. Montego Bay is 6 points from that playoff spot. But they see that this team can play. It's just that they just have to find the trust between their issue is not really just scoring, but defending and giving up cheap goals. Yeah. And I think sometimes maybe if William Ferreira can if he was a player that can speak English properly, where he can communicate, Lucas, maybe if these players can speak English properly and communicate with the Montego Bay players, I think it will be a smoother transition with their defense line and the midfielder, because time and time I've seen Lucas and Turner, trying to have conversation and, just using sign language, and just, football have a language that, everyone understand that. So if they could communicate and understand each other on an English base, it probably could be a smoother, transition. But that's where Montego be really, weak, that defensive area between the defense and the midfield. But otherwise from that, really good, really threatening. They created a lot of chances. They are one of the only team that down in the bottom half of the table, have created chances after chances after chances in games. Yeah, when you see Lima, when you see a Treasure Beach, not really Treasure Beach, but Lima. All right, so Mullines, Montego Bay, yeah, Harborview. Those teams that's down there, they created at least 2 to 3 clear-cut chances. Whenever I see them play, they created at least 2 to 3 clear-cut chances to score. I don't see Lima do that, I don't see Umberland do that. Umberland is a very defensive team. Veer is another team, though they don't really create it that much big chances when I see them play live. Yeah, so those teams don't they created a lot of chances, but you know they puts this back. Whoever miss it can see the team of the season so far. If you guys having a disagreement, if you have a player that should be in or a player that should be out, just drop your comment down in that comment section, yeah, and just tell me who you want to take out and who you would put in. But I don't think many people can disagree with me with this team, as this team is a really good team, yeah, really good, solid team. Of the season so far, Jerome with big experience coach, Russell, a very young player that's still finding him way, finding his feet, in the Premier League, Barrington Price, been around the blocks for a while now at Tivoli, yeah. Sule Makala, same thing, have a few national caps under his belt, yeah. Jaime Thomas, a young 20-year-old, I think this is his third season, for Arnett Garden. Nikai Christian, the man that won the championship in 2012, 2013, for Arborview. He's been around the blocks for a long time. Yeah. Fletcher, young player. I think Fletcher is coming from, he was at Mount Pleasant at one time. I don't remember if it was him or Denard Thomas, but I think it was Fletcher. Jean Claudio, first season in the JPL and, just doing what he's doing. It's really remarkable. Yeah. Kimani Arbon, he does what Kimani Arbon do on a daily basis, score and work hard for the team. Yeah. Javian Bryan, his first JPL season under his belt and to score 9 goals. I remember I can't remember which league, which time. I don't remember if it was there was a time in the Jamaican Premier League a couple seasons ago, not far away, but a couple seasons back. I remember I think there was a single digit, a player that scored a single digit goal of the campaign and win the Golden Boot. I'm trying to remember if it was Colorado Murray. Let me see if I can get that stats. See if I can get that correctly. Yeah. Just give me 1 second, card. I remember when Colorado Murray, I think he was the player that won the Golden Boot, in the Premier League, the Jamaican Premier League. I think he was at Arbor. I think he was at Waterhouse at the time. I think he was at Waterhouse. Yeah, I can't get that stats. Yeah. Sometimes it's messed up. Yeah, sometimes it's messed up, trying to get JPL stats, but I seen that stats already. Yeah, I seen that stats already, but I don't remember where did I got it. Trying to remember if but I know I seen that stats already where Colorado Murray got the leading goal scorer after JPL and he scored a limited amount of goal. Yeah, but yeah, that's the table, people. That's the table, team of see so far, and I am about to break out, but just before I break out, in the AFL Cup, yeah, Bobby Dacover Reed will play Liverpool tomorrow in that AFL Cup. Only 3 games away, for the Jamaican international player. See if he can win that AFL Cup, yeah. Middlesbrough, the team that won the AFL Cup, I think it was like probably around, I think it was 2004 was the last time Middlesbrough won that AFL Cup, yeah, in the old Wembley Stadium. But Chelsea got their teeth kick out in the day 1-0, by a Michael Carrick team. The England international, the England under 21 international Acme, the player that scored that goal. How many chances Chelsea have to get to score a goal? Yeah, and the manager every minute Pochettino do a press conference, he always talk about his team created so many chances and just not scoring. I'm disappointed in Pochettino of not starting, that striker, Borja. He scored last game. He played a fantastic game, against Preston. But then again, Chelsea finished that first half 0-0 against a very bottom table championship team. And then, I knew Chelsea was going to have problems to beat, Nottingham Middlesbrough. Because I seen Aston Villa play this team over the weekend at Riverside Stadium and they struggled. It took a wonderful shot, but it was deflected, from Matikash to be, the goalkeeper. And no, Chelsea was going to go there. They're going to struggle. If you can't get, a first goal in these games to open up the game a little bit, because these teams, they just sit tight, defend deep, and hit you in the transition. And that's what they did. Yeah. The FA Cup tie, I don't know. Leon Bailey, Aston Villa will play Chelsea. You don't know Leon Bailey versus Raheem Sterling. Yeah. Two friends will come up in the FA Cup. Sheffield Wednesday will play Coventry. That's, Sheffield Wednesday, Deshaun Bernard, Reggae Boy centre back, and Coventry with Casey Palmer and Joel Latibo there. Ipswich will come up against the big surprising team from the 5th-tier National League, Maidstone. Ipswich is a team of Omar Hutchinson. West Ham will play that replay. Yeah, Mikel Antonio team. Anyone win that game will play, Nottingham Forest or Blackpool, as you know, that those two teams are playing a replay. And Luton Town will play, Bolton in that replay, Amari Bell from Luton Town, and, they will come up against either Crystal Palace or Everton. So, Reggae Boy International still, carrying the flag in that FA Cup. Let's see if a Reggae Boy International can win one of those cup this season, in the Premier League in England. But, yeah, people, that's it. Thanks for passing through, man. Remember, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, team of the season so far in the JPL. Best coach of the season so far, Jerome Wade. Yeah. So people, bless up on yourself. You don't know. Leaving right